Welcome again to the Dedicated Educational Network. My name is Marvin Gardens and I'm here to give you today's special subject. Today we'll be talking about inquiry-based learning, a new learning style that is quickly sweeping the nation from school to school. First, a brief review of traditional style teaching, which looks kind of like this.
The protagonists struggle. And how does this relate to our discussion of the uses of irony?
Inquiry-based learning is where the teacher asks a question and the students actively do research to gather data that can answer the question. In this learning method, the teacher acts as more of a guide or sensei to help them stay on track, kind of like this.
Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them. Stretch out with your feelings. You see? You can do it.
Today we will be talking to two secondary teachers as well as one elementary teacher as they give their beliefs and experiences with inquiry-based learning. Ms. Johnson is a secondary teacher at Perry Central Junior Senior High School in Leopard, Indiana, where she teaches inquiry-based learning in her Project Lead the Way classes. Ms. Walzinski, a 4th and 5th grade teacher from Burris Laboratory Elementary School from Muncie, Indiana. She uses inquiry-based learning in math, science, reading, and social studies. Lastly, we have Mr. Zellers, who is also from Perry Central Junior Senior High School and teaches inquiry-based learning in social studies and world history classes.
We're going to compare the technology plans of Burris Laboratory and Perry Central High School. Burris's technology plan is to give students the opportunities to use new technologies, integrate basic technology into the classroom curriculum, increase online learning, collaboration, and communication, give all grades a multimedia classroom, and provide teachers with new technologies and professional development opportunities. Perry Central's technology plan is something similar to this. The vision of our school is to move forward. We are trying to rethink our time and place. We feel like technology and education is really going to change the way we do business in the next few years. We want to be on the cutting edge of change because our students need these skills to be successful in the workforce. We feel like the computer skills are an equality piece that the students need to be successful. They went to a one-to-one student ratio and are providing the students with the computer skills they need. They're also trying online classes and flipped classroom, and they are using My Big Campus now with this process, with the computer ratio. Below, you can also see other things that we use to compare the schools, such as the school grade, the socioeconomic status, the school population, the graduation rate, and the adequate yearly progress of the school.
We have heard a little bit about inquiry-based learning and about the school backgrounds. Now let's see what these teachers have to say. First question is, how do you use inquiry-based learning in your classroom?
I asked Ms. Johnson whether she uses inquiry-based learning in her classroom, and she reported that she did in her Project Lead the Way classes, where she was certified to teach principles of biomedical science and medical interventions. Perry Central is very fortunate to have these classes. There's not very many schools that offer these type Project Lead the Way classes. The students are just prompted with a question at the beginning, and they go through a series of steps to try to answer that question. And when answering the question, they ask more questions and research upon each question that they're asking to try to solve the case.
And start with the first question of, do you use inquiry-based learning in your classroom?
Yes, yeah, I definitely do. I use it a lot in social studies and science.
As you can see, inquiry-based learning is used in a variety of subjects. The next question is, how do you think this prepares students for standardized tests?
Ms. Johnson thought that inquiry-based learning helped the students think about the question in order how to answer the question for a standardized test. She thought at Perry Central students sometimes struggle with how to answer the questions when it comes to those tests, and that this type of learning really helps prepare them for that. As far as test scores go, she wasn't sure how they compared to the ones that didn't do IBL learning. It was more or less she didn't have the results to tell whether they were higher or not.
According to Mr. Zeller, he says, I think inquiry-based learning does a good job preparing students for standardized tests. I work in a school that also uses standardized based grading. For each project, students know what standards are going to be covered. Then they are quizzed on each standard. Those students that are not proficient are remedied by me, while those that were move on to the next phase of the project.
Using it to help your students prepare for the standardized test?
I mean, I think standardized testing and the emphasis on that is making it very difficult to do. So there are ways, and many teachers are doing this. They're managing larger projects that would be more inquiry-based learning, and then using it also as an approach, even in a single lesson. The only connection to the standardized test is that you're teaching to the standard.
Right.
It doesn't help the kids on the test.
Got to love those standardized tests. Next question, how do you guide and encourage students to use this type of learning in the classroom?
Ms. Johnson thoroughly enjoys her role in IB Learning. She just guides her students through the project. She's not up there telling them what to do. She's just there as a resource. She usually prepares the labs for the students if they go to the lab to conduct some sort of experiment. She walks around, answers their questions, but in a general sense, they do all the work. She doesn't really do anything. She's just there for support.
Mr. Zeller says, I give the students guided research worksheets. It ensures that they stay on track with their research and that they are gathering the information I want them to know. They have to turn in their research worksheets at the end of the project for participation points. They also have to complete a daily reflection journal. They reflect about what they've learned for the day and why it matters to us. They must also come up with 2 questions they had for the information they researched that day.
I work with students to develop their own questions.
Yep.
I mean, sometimes I develop them just to get the full breadth of coverage that I need, but I encourage students to seek those answers even momentarily or in a systematic way for research projects, basically.
Okay.
Short and long.
Encouraging. What are some examples of inquiry-based learning that you use in your classroom?
When asked what types of assignments she gives her students with the IB Learning, they're giving a project in this Principles of Biomedical Science class. It's a Project Lead the Way class, and they follow the Smith family, and they have a daughter that is diagnosed with a disease, and they have to decide the symptoms and what causes it and all the steps leading up to that. But they are prompted with the disease, and then they have to research from there what could cause it, what the symptoms are, all the other different types of things. But it's just like inquiry-based learning where they start with a question.
I have sort of a hands-on approach to observation of, right now I'm doing a unit on rocks and minerals and
Okay.
earth science type of stuff.
Right.
And both for investigation of volcanoes by internet, as well as hands-on observation of rocks and minerals, trying to figure out how they got that way.
Now for one of the most important questions, how do students respond to this type of learning?
She thinks students definitely enjoy the IB Learning. It's better than her standing up there lecturing the class. She feels like they get more out of being engaged into the projects, and she finds that the students also like going at their own pace and learning on their own, researching the questions and finding their own results, rather than her standing up there telling them exactly what to do.
Mr. Zeller reported, my students seem to be more engaged. They have responded even better than I thought they would. I have really been guiding them through the research process, and they are all asking to be able to do their research more independently. They say they would much rather find the information on their own rather than me just lecturing it to them.
I think it is extremely motivating because it puts a learner in charge of their learning.
Right.
To a much larger extent than reading what's provided for them. It lets them search, and that sense of ownership, it's a big motivator. But probably even deeper is, I think when kids are following their own curiosity, that is, I think students are more likely to integrate that knowledge with their previous knowledge, as well as a more integrated approach.
Now, a fun question: how do you incorporate technology into this type of learning?
Ms. Johnson's class uses technology every day. Each student now has their own laptop. It's different from 2 years ago where they went from 2 students per laptop. Every student in the school now has a laptop, so that helps them in this class also. They use probes. It's an online curriculum, so there's no textbook, so all of this course is a computer-based class. So they're on the computers every day for the entire class. I asked her if they needed any more resources, and she feels like they have everything they need to do well in the class. She feels very fortunate.
Mr. Zell says, technology is a big part of inquiry-based learning. I am lucky enough to be in a school that just took a one-to-one computer-to-student initiative. We use computers on almost a daily basis as part of the research process. Students also use technology when it comes to putting together their final product for the project.
When we do a research project, I ask them to show me the Google search before they click on any of the items, or I direct them to specific sites.
Okay.
And by doing that, I have a way of directing them toward being able to discern what are better sites than others, if that makes sense. So I'm really using the process itself to teach them how to do an authentic search.
Right.
And like when we do Native Americans and searches on various tribes, I say, what do you think? They have a list of sites to go to, and one of them's got a lot of advertisements on it, but it actually might be the tribe's own site. And so I say, what do you think about that? Is that something you think is going to be more or less authentic and true than even Wikipedia? I think it's valid inquiry-based learning to give them the sites, but if you've got the time, it's better for them to find the sites with some measure of conversation with the teacher.
Now our individual teachers will each answer their own question about inquiry-based learning.
When asked about Paris Central's role in inquiry-based learning, Ms. Johnson was very excited to say that she was fortunate here at Paris Central that they have these kinds of classes. The students love them. The Project Lead the Way classes provide them with more experience than she got until her senior year of college, she reported. They give the students more hands-on experience with in the medical field than she got. They're working on getting the AP Chemistry Club to be completely inquiry-based learning, to where they will be prompted with a question and have to provide a solution. It's a great way for students to learn. She's all for it. She loves it, and the students get very excited about this type of learning.
To Mr. Zeller, the question is, why do you think inquiry-based learning is effective? His response: to me, inquiring-based learning is effective because the students are doing the work. The teacher becomes more of a felicitator rather than a lecturer. They are coming up with the questions themselves and then research them to find the answers. I think this is much more effective than students listening to me talk for 45 minutes, take notes, and trying to keep from falling asleep. Inquiry-based learning also always answers the question, why do we need to know this? With inquiry-based learning, they get the big picture. I hope you now all have a better understanding of inquiry-based learning. Inquiry-based learning is set out to help students think on their own. They have to ask questions and research on their own to answer their problems. This will help students develop a path so they can learn for a lifetime. Inquiry-based learning is helping them form a mindset for learning where teachers are giving students more freedom and not directing them every step of the way.